I made some notes today. I want to make sure I get all the points in the video, and make sure it's still quite short and succinct, so it's not too long as well. Why it feels like when dealing with narcissists, psychopaths, and energy vampires, that the abuse is infinite or everlasting. The first reason it feels like it's infinite or everlasting is narcissists and energy vampires, for some reason, when they get their claws into you, they feel like they own you. It's a very weird thing. It's like possession. It's spiritual, and it's also just kind of material, maybe, if that's the right word. They feel like, because they're very entitled, these people, they feel like you're their property. It's strange. That's one of the reasons why they stalk you. Like, I've got situations where certain narcissistic energy vampire people that I know, I will literally come out my flat and I will just spot them walking past, and they know where I live. So it's like, a lot of this isn't coincidence. Like, it's like they want to bump into you, or they're spying at your house, or they're stalking you. It comes from that kind of ownership. And it's funny because when you pull back from them energetically, like, you stop thinking about them, you stop really caring about what they think, and you become indifferent. It's almost like they can feel it, and a part of them gets this like rage, like, who do you think you are? And another part of them is like, oh fine, if you're gonna avoid me, I'm gonna avoid you back. They've got a very, very strange, peculiar way of thinking, these folk. Sometimes I try not to delve too deep into it, because some of it is actually unexplainable. It's because of the part of their brain that the matter is less, and some could be genetic or nurturing from their childhood traumas. Another point I got here is Lucy, fallen angel, or the D. He takes no days off. I can't remember the script about the adversary is around and he's looking for someone that's drunk. I can't remember what the script is for that, but it's a constant challenge to try to stay on the right side of doing the right thing, of being light, of trying to be positive, because society now is actually pushing and promoting the other side. So there are no days off. You know, you could turn on your explore page and on Instagram, and a lot of the things there are to distract you, and anything that I said that in a past video, anything that takes you away from presence or distracts you is of the other side. Another point is because of smear campaigns, why the abuse feels everlasting. So when you're in the relationship and before it really ends, they're already kind of putting doubts to people about you, and some of the things you may have done, some of the things they may have caused. You know, sometimes they may text you certain things and you react, and then they delete what they said and just show people what you said. They put video cameras in, secret cameras in your house, secret microphones. So there'll be some things that will catch you not in your best light, like, you know, your lower self. Like, we're always in this battle of our lower and higher self, and no one's perfect, but we want to try and have a balance. So that doesn't mean you can never have a one-night stand, or you could never drink alcohol, you could never do something that's morally not the best thing. Obviously, you live your life trying not to overindulge in carnal activities and of the lower self, but we're human. Even overeating, we're human and we're going to make mistakes. But these folk, even though they are the ones that have the real reckless, chaotic minds, they need to catch you in that state. So you might be someone that does a lot of great work in your community. You're very consistent, reliable at work, stoic, beautiful, very charitable, empathetic human being. But because you're human, you may have that one night or one moment when you're not those things. And when that happens, guess what? They're going to be there to call the police on you. So when you say, for instance, like the first one that I had, she lost one of my bike locks. So when she went to borrow one of my other bike locks, it triggered an emotion. And, you know, at that time, I wasn't the best at dealing with those issues. Or I was also a mechanic, so she would get me to repair this bike that I paid for, by the way. And so in the end, I ended up crashing this bike. I damaged the bike literally with my hands, and then she reported me to the police for that. And the police were, you know, t- I think I was actually given a caution for damage to property, blah, something like that. Can't remember. But yeah, they are the number one person to report, trigger you, and then report you. Another thing why the abuse feels like it's everlasting is abuse by proxy, which is kind of a smear campaign, is by proxy. But what you have is, while they're spreading the rumors about you, the people that they're spreading the rumors to will now start abusing you. So you will feel isolated. You'll feel like everyone's against you. You'll have people giving you bad looks on the street. You'll have people looking at you and laughing at you. I heard about this Facebook group where it's called "Have You Dated Him" or something, and it's like women who would write about a guy, have anyone dated this guy, and then they will say, oh, I've dated him, and they will say all the bad points. That's a smear campaign, no matter how you see it. We have to trust ourselves, trust our intuitions, be with people ourselves, and make our own minds about that person in that person's presence and how they make us feel, right? If we go into a forum and start speaking about someone behind their back, we don't know that person's experience of that person. Maybe the person writing the negative thing was the person that made them go into their lower selves. You don't know. But by you doing that, you are perpetuating an idea. You are adding fuel to the fire. You are also enabling abuse. You are taking part in the smear campaign, which is not a very good thing to be a part of energetically, because that karma will come back. It will be some sort of karmic debt you're creating. Another point I've written down is the trauma gets caught in your body. So when you're dealing with narcissists, a lot of times your body will build up this kind of tension, as it were. It's very, very important to move, especially like the shoulders. A lot of trauma is held up in your shoulders. You'll end up sort of crouched down. Your eyebrows tend to be always held a certain way. You look sad. It's funny, like I look at some of the photos when I was, even now sometimes if you take a photo of yourself, how you're holding your face after you've been walking on eggshells for so long, after you've been, say if it was a parent and when you were younger, they used to go to work and you knew when they came back from work, you're going to get in trouble for playing computer games on the TV they just bought or something like that. I can't remember all these sort of stuff. Your body you get really tense, and that gets caught up, like a lot of memory gets caught up by the body. So it's important to sort of move around, to try and get some exercise, go on walks, really stretch out and really breathe. Maybe take up a spiritual practice, maybe if not Pilates, then yoga, martial arts, Qigong, Tai Chi, things of that nature. This might be a bit long, but let me try and get these out. These are some things you could try to reduce this feeling of isolated and everlasting abuse. One of the things I've got here is to do something that scares you every day. So take up a new hobby, maybe even teach something that you have, some skills that you've acquired over your life and your career. You could teach that. Take a cold shower. So taking a cold shower would help to cool the body down in temperature, and it will also help to reset your nervous system. Our nervous systems will tend to sometimes be clogged up because of all of this negativity and constant feeling like you're in a fight or flight mode, or even fawn. So your nervous system really needs to just get rid of all of this tension, and a good way, a cold shower every day or every other day, helps to reset, sort of shock the body into starting again and giving it a fresh chance, which you all deserve, by the way. I've got here, give yourself a big hug. So if you're by yourself, sometimes just wrap your arms around your body and just give yourself a hug and just be accepting and neutral, and also give yourself time to heal, because this is going to take a long time, but you'll get there. I did it, and we can all do it together. So I put down here, put on your favorite movie. So put on a good movie. If you're able to watch a movie in your bath, in the bath where you got your bath there, do that. Or play a nice album. Take a nice bath with candles, bubbles, and just enjoy yourself, have a nice time. I've also got here, reconnect with an old friend that's outside of the toxic zone. So if you've got a friend from your past, I just did this recently with a really old school friend, and we all went karting. So if you can do that with a friend who's completely separate to all of the toxic lies, rumor mill, exaggerations of you not doing good, so they don't have any perceptions of all that stuff. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of those people, even if if they know, they'll still accept you, because they're not a part of this kind of flying monkey enablers trying to prove something to the narcissists. So they would actually understand from a balanced viewpoint. They will also tell you your wrongs as well. They'll hold you accountable, but at the same time, they'll also be balanced. It won't be a kind of cancel culture vibration, which usually comes from a projection. So a lot of people that say, oh, we can't work with him, or we don't want to be friends with him, usually what it is the people that start the campaign see the person they're abusing as something that they've done, or what they are trying to hide. So it's like they project it and everybody just continues it. Very, very sickening, actually. It comes from a sort of elitist kind of ideology as well. The last point I've got here is to go traveling. So going traveling and getting out of your comfort zone and going somewhere you haven't been before is great, because it puts you in a state of having to be creative and thinking on your feet. So I knew, like, when I went away, thinking about these folk was the last thing on my mind. It was how to survive and how to thrive in another country, another society, learning new rules, new tricks, learning how to sort of be very alert in my surroundings. So yeah, traveling is great. If you can get into somewhere like a natureful place, or where there's a beach, changing climate, it's good for the body, it's good for the mind, good for the spirit, it's good for your soul. So I'm going to leave the video there. So I'm just going to say what I always say, what happens when you're with these folks. So to avoid it, let's try and keep our divinity to ourselves, our connectivity to ourselves, our energy to ourselves, our love to ourselves, our jobs to ourselves, our skills to ourselves, and yeah, just vet these people before we let them get too close to use us for our resources and cause havoc in our lives. I hope you can find something in there that could be helpful to you. If so, consider subscribing, liking the video, and hopefully see you soon. Peace.